Before we begin, here is a list of all the Gen ships and their locations. This is just for those of you who don't want to wait through a full video to get out there. I don't really mind it either. Enjoy the sights, Commander. For those of you who've been in Elite Dangerous for some time, you'll know that there are lots of interesting things to discover. While most can be geological in nature, planets and the like, and others alien, granted those are very interesting and I do recommend checking them out. Maybe I'll make a video later on about it. But this video goes out to the appreciation of those human-made objects. One of these is the generation ships. These craft are relatively easy to find given their very common numbers, and have little stories hidden within them. To fully explore a generation ship, you must drive up and scan the ship with a composition scanner. Then you'll be presented with several locations to scan with the composition scanner, usually 4 or 5. Each will produce an audio log for you to explore, like the dirty information rat you are. Canonically, these ships were humanity's first attempt to voyage into the stars. Due to this, they have no hyperspace capabilities, none, meaning that they were left to use thrusters and their momentum to arrive at their destination, usually generations after their launch. All of them met an unfortunate end due to corporate sabotage, scientific meddling, or critical systems failing. A direct link to this could be the vaults in the Fallout series. Hello everybody, I'm Skorgezagreat, some idiot with a really long name, and I'm going to present you with my top 3 generation ships and share a little bit of their backstories. Let's get into it! Starting our journey off in Charik Drift, a system not too far from Sol, we take a look at the generation ship Atlas. Overlooked by a neutron star, the backdrop of the ship is very pretty. Atlas has 3 domes in its midsection. These domes will have trees within them. One can only speculate what they were used for, though. Maybe they would be used in an attempt to terraform the planet when they land on it. Maybe they produce the ship's oxygen, or they could be completely recreational, like little parks within the ship. Spaceships are very huge and complex beasts, as you might already know, and space is very common a place where expensive things go to break. But this ship was killed by something so simple.
The captain told the crew the bad news. They've known for months now, but until today it's been on a need-to-know basis. Now it's out there. We can't stop the ship.
They couldn't stop the ship? They would pass their destination and continue floating out into the void. Thus, the crew decided to deploy the life pods and float down onto the planet, leaving one man behind. The man who stays behind is our narrator, who says this after all the pods have left the ship.
We're out of communication range now. I've been sitting here for hours, listening to the crackle of the dead signal. Thought I was ready for this. Thought I had made peace with it. But knowing that that was the last time I was going to hear her voice makes it so much worse. The captain said they're going to name the first settlement after me. Nice gesture, I guess. But I really didn't do it for them. I did it for her. And the life she's carrying. This was the right thing to do. There's no telling when or if this ship will ever stop. We had our shot, and we took it. I'd gladly do it again. My kid's not gonna grow up in some tin can floating aimlessly in space. They're gonna grow up with dirt between their toes and a sky above their head.
Truly a scary, but interesting thought. I actually enjoy how simple this ship's failure truly was. I mean, after all, it's befitting of it. It's befitting of Elite Dangerous, a very, very detail-oriented game, that such a thing would cause a behemoth like the Atlas to fail. Next we head to Mizuki, a Jin ship orbiting the planet Mizuki 2. The backdrop isn't too interesting, but the planet is pretty. It has the same 3 tree domes, once again supporting the idea that it's used to keep oxygen in the ship. But this time there are cargo containers within its lower midsection. What is super interesting, however, is the ship's story.
We have a situation. There have been system failures in navigation, habitat, and communications. Life support seems to be working normally, but we only have enough power and biosystems for a few decades. We're drifting aimlessly. Assuming we don't reach a habitable planet soon, we'll be out of food in a few years. The captain has ordered us to keep a lid on this. I mean, we've got 3,000 souls aboard this vessel. The last thing we need is a ship-wide panic.
The war of the 4 tribes continues. We, the mechanics, are once again fighting for our survival. The peacekeepers, curse their name, have become dominant. After they allied with the colony, they destroyed most of us. But if we can form an alliance with the cultivators, we might yet gain control of the food stocks and avert our destruction. With prayer and zeal, we will prevail. We fight for the rich and the driver. We fight for the engine.
I really love this. It's incredibly interesting. And I've always happened to love the idea of humans falling to barbarism, especially in a hyper-advanced setting. In fact, their final moments get even darker, as it seems they even fall to cannibalism in order to survive.
Tonight we feast. The flesh of the vanquished will be our banquet. Few remain, but those who do stand victorious. Unbroken within this tomb, this eternal prison. The Sayers will tell our legend for generations. They will tell of the last eaters, of how we rose from the depths of the engine, how we claimed our throne. But tonight, they will feast alongside us. And we will sing forever in the dark with a curtain of light ahead, heralding the journey to come.
Truly a dark ending. It reminds me of something that would happen in Warhammer 40k. One can imagine that the last survivors starved away, withering. Maybe they regret what they did. Maybe they don't. Finally, we head to Ross 859 for Generation Ship Odysseus, a ship that, in my humble opinion, has the greatest aesthetic. Looming over 2 planets nearly identical to each other, the ship itself looks a lot cooler. In my humble opinion, the flatbed just makes the cargo containers look so much better. The 2 domes are actually varied this time. One of them does just have trees in it, but this other one has a dome that's very obviously meant for farming. This ship's story starts with a council, or some court proceeding, on the decision to land on the planets. The council has decided that they will not, and they're going to send a small crew instead. They keep saying something about the greater good. Wait a second. Oh no. After the terrifying realization that communism is spread even far out here, we learn that after they sent the small team out, this has happened.
It's been years. since we've dealt with something like this, and to be honest, I'm not sure we can cope anymore. Sickness has taken hold. We detected it too late. By the time we knew what it was, half the ship was infected. Rings A and C are no-go areas, even for medical staff. Council orders. So many areas are quarantined off now. We're cut off from some of the ship's key systems. We should have been better prepared. It's not the first outbreak we've had. Back in my dad's day, an epidemic flooded the ship after a meteor storm. There were riots and people getting sick, but we got through it. We rebuilt the farms, people got medicine and recovered. This is different. The council has initiated martial law. The ship's under curfew, and anyone found to be infected is locked up in the quarantine zones. They say it's for the greater good. I don't know anymore. I can't think straight.
Let's just take a moment to appreciate this. I mean, I totally expected it to be a revolution. People would want to leave the ship and land on the planet, and that would be like a revolution, and it would spiral into barbarity, because the people who were killed were the people managing the ship. But instead, we got a virus, a sickness spreading through the ship because of that small team going on there. All of the ship's problems came from the virus. Can relate. Of course, this is a Jinn ship, so it didn't make it. The crew would try in vain to vanquish the virus, but it would not end as they wanted it to.
They thought they had eradicated it. We all thought they had. We fought for the greater good. We existed here for the greater good. We mourned the lost ones for the greater good. Council made peace for the greater good. We exist. We remember. We mourn. All for the greater good. 20 years we have existed. But you can't kill this. It hides. It retreats and mutates and comes at you again. The same, but different. Stronger, more deadly. Now there is nothing left. No people, no council, no laws. Only the sickness. I record this as a warning. Do not board this ship. It is dead. Mourn those lost and remember, but do not set foot on board this ship. For the greater good, greater good, greater good, greater good.
Even though it sounds like Shodan is taking over the comm feed, it sounds pretty nice. The virus in this sounds very scary. It seems to adapt and change. Maybe it's a microscopic living being. It makes people go insane. Hence, it was impossible to avoid. Either way, it would be better to blow this floating hulk off the map than let it remain here. So there we have it. These ships are pretty easy to find. I'll link the wiki below for you, commanders who want to see a little more. Honestly, the arrival of Odyssey, these ships would be perfect to explore the interiors of. Maybe becoming some pseudo-horror game. Hey, thanks for watching. It takes a lot to watch a video with such poor audio quality. I've run a channel in the past, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. So if you're an actual human being and, not a bot, leave a comment, subscribe, do whatever. I'm just glad you're here, really.